God doesn't need anything from us. He is a giver. He gives like the sun. The sun doesn't need light from a candle. God is a subjective experience that is beyond the intellect. It's pure experience. God is pure experience. It's just like electricity. You cannot see electricity, but you can feel it.
She had that feeling of compassion and love towards the entire creation. Amma says it was already there by birth itself.
The village that Amma was born in is called Parayakadava, and they're all fishermen. As a child, Amma was called Sudamani, which means a nectar-like jewel. Amma's family was very poor. Her father used to work as a fisherman. All the people that live there are Hindus, and they're of the fisherman caste. That's how they make their living.
When she was born, she didn't cry. When I looked at her, she was motionless. I was scared because the baby before her had died. But then the woman who helped me with the birth said, "Oh, she is smiling."
Amma started walking by the time she was 6 months old, and soon after that, she began speaking eloquently. She never talked baby talk.
Amma would see books and chant Krishna's name. It was spontaneous. It started at a very young age. She behaved differently from other kids.
When Sudhamani was a young girl, she had her own principles. So she did not obey her parents, and this became a big problem for them.
And sometimes they thought that they have a very strange daughter. Maybe sometimes they thought that she is disobedient. Sometimes they thought that she is crazy. So they had all these misconceptions. When you cannot grasp something, understand something, you stamp it as strange.
In the morning when Sudhamani's mother would wake the household, Sudhamani would not be there. She would stay up all night singing hymns and meditating or dancing in ecstasy. Early in the morning, she would fall asleep on the beach or maybe under a tree. Her mother would search everywhere for her and would get very angry because Sudhamani was being disobedient. You know, it's unthinkable in Indian society to disobey one's parents.
Sudhamani! Oh, Sudhamani! Etra nerai! Iduvare enitile! Sudhamani! Ninne enipikyan nokate!
I feel sad I punished her, but back then I didn't understand. That's why I punished her.
I have talked to some of Amma's teachers, and they say she was a remarkable child. She could memorize anything, just one time was enough.
Amma was a very loving student. She was very unusual, very different from the other students. When Amma was studying here, she would have fits and fall down unconscious. The reality of that we did not know. We did not know why she had those fits, but now we know she was experiencing bliss.
When Sudhamani was 9 years old, her mother Damayanti became very sick. Sudhamani decided that she would stop going to school so that she could do all the household chores.
Most of her time, even though she had to attend to the household chores, all the work was done chanting the Lord's name, crying, dancing. She simply chanted the Lord's name when she played with other children. So everything was a worship. Her entire life was a worship, was a prayer.
When Sudhamani would be immersed in deep meditation, she would lose all sense of day and night. And she wouldn't eat or sleep. The animals who saw her felt compassion and used to bring her food. And Amma realized that these animals understood her feelings more than even human beings did. And Amma imagined that these animals were being sent to her by God to help her with her spiritual practices. Amma could clearly see that this was the infinite love of God that she was seeing in these animals. And her caring for these animals became another form of meditation on the divine.
Since she loved all beings equally, we felt she was different and crazy. She loved people the same way as her relatives. She loved trees, pet animals, and even cruel animals the same way as she loved her own brothers and sisters.
One morning, when I was picking flowers, a huge poisonous snake jumped at me. Amma came and told the snake that I was her grandma. She told me that he would not harm me. Then she put her tongue into the snake's mouth, touching his tongue.
ഇതിനെന്ത് വില? പകുതി മതി.
She would be very hardworking. It was Amma who nearly brought us up. She would look after all of us. You know, she would bring us up right from the morning to the night. Everything. She would dress us up. She would send us to school. She would look after our well-being.
She would carry pictures of gods, Mahatmas, and talk to them. We thought she was mentally unbalanced. She would burst out crying, "Krishna, Krishna," and fall to the ground, unconscious. I worried about how it would all end up.
ദമയന്തി സുധാമണിയെ കണ്ടോ? അവൾ എവിടെ പോയിരിക്കുന്ന? മോനെ പോകുന്നുണ്ടോ? മോനെ സുധാമണിയെ കണ്ടോ? അവൾ എവിടെ പോയി? സുധാമണി എവിടെ പോയി? കണ്ടില്ല.
She would hold a picture and always chant Krishna's name. I was sad at Sudhamani's behavior.
She would lie and roll on the ground. When she woke up, She didn't remember it. I was so troubled with the state of Amma.
Sometimes Amma took food and jewelry from the house to give it to the poor. One day, she took an earring of her mother's and gave it to a sick person so that they could buy medicine. Her parents, when they knew about this, they became very angry and severely beat her. Sudamani knew all these sufferings would bring her closer to God. She knew that her suffering was her real teacher.
You know, Amma's parents, they were totally ignorant about spirituality. They think that God is sitting somewhere up above the sky, or God is only in a temple. They had no idea about God as omnipotent. So as Amma said, that infinite capacity is within us to become God. So that aspect of spirituality was completely unknown to them. So they couldn't even imagine, they couldn't even dream that their child, their daughter, was in a most exalted spiritual mood.
I was strict. I didn't know who she was. She was different from other kids, so I used to beat her and punish her.
In the early morning, Damayanti would go to the river bank and clean and purify herself to begin the day. But Sudamani, she was nowhere in sight.
Sudamani! Oh, Sudamani! Sudamani, evide? Etra nerayi kutti kondu. Ayyo, Deivame! Ee kutti ivide dhyanikki. Sudamani! Ravili kundi ide joli. Mere oru kariyale etra joli nadu bakki. Hey, Sudamani! Sudamani! Oh, Sudamani! Hey, Bhagwan! Amme! Adi, evaru paadi joli undu. Inne etra joli undu ee kutti. Enikku thodu madi idyanalla. Adi, bari va. Va gaanikkunu va. Va, hey! Enna idu? Etra joli undu ee kutti kondu njan thodu. Nadi.
Damayanti's views on bringing up girls were very strict. Amma would say, "I'm not yours. The whole world is my parents." Damayanti got mad when she heard this. She punished Amma.
When you are blissful, you can smile, you can dance, you can roll in the mud. That's all you can do. That is how one can express the bliss within. There is no other way. The parents could see mother dancing, and then sometimes they thought, how can our daughter dance like this when she has not learned how to dance? They were transformed for some time and they thought that there is something very special about their child. The whole world, the entire universe is a wonder for mother because it's God's beauty. So the entire world is God's creation and we should fall in love with that. Everything was a worship. Her entire life was a worship, was a prayer.
In those days, it was the custom to observe a caste system. My parents used to give food, oil, and clothing to a low caste man, but they always left the gifts at a distance from the house for him to pick up. But Amma didn't observe this rule. She would go sit and eat with the old man and call him father. She treated him lovingly. This was directly disobeying our parents and disregarding the customs of our village.
So when the heart is filled with love, it expresses itself as compassion through your look, touch, action. The feeling of the other or the otherness should go. Then there is only you. Then compassion and love automatically happens.
Her giving to the poor or caring for the sick and feeding the hungry, all these virtues sprang spontaneously from her inherent nature.
I would ask her not to meditate. I told her that it was not necessary. People go to the temples to worship. Just pray like an ordinary girl. We don't need this behavior.
ഇവിടെ വീണ്ടും തുടങ്ങി ആട്ടവും പാട്ടവും. കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളും ഇപ്പോഴും ഉണരും. എന്താ ചെയ്യൂ?
പഠിത്തം നിർത്തിയിട്ടും ഒരു പ്രയോജനമില്ലെന്നാ തോന്നുന്നു.
രാത്രിയല്ലൂ സ്വൈരമില്ല.
Without having the support of her family and without the support of the local people and even without the support of anybody except God, Amma would hold on to her principles.
Amma would say, I'm born to help the people who need me. I'm not just your daughter. I'm here for the people.
എന്താ ഈ വീട്ടിലെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങള്?
എന്താ പ്രശ്നം? അതേ പ്രശ്നം. ഈ കുട്ടിയെ കൊണ്ട് ഈ വീട് നശിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നു.
നീ സമാധാനപ്പെട, ഞാൻ അതിനെ മാർഗം കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്.
എന്താ മാർഗം?
അവിടെ വിവാഹം കഴിപ്പിച്ചു.
2 പ്രാവശ്യം വന്നിട്ട് പോയി. ഈ കുട്ടിക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും അനുസരണം ഉണ്ടോ?
എന്താ പറഞ്ഞേ? നിന്റെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ തീരുമാനിക്കാൻ അച്ഛനും അമ്മയുണ്ട്. അച്ഛനും അമ്മയും തീരുമാനിക്കും, ഞാൻ തീരുമാനിക്കും.
ഇത്രയും കാലം ഉപദ്രവിച്ചിട്ട് മതിയായില്ലേ?
2 പ്രാവശ്യം ആള് വന്നിട്ട് പോയി. ഇനി നീ ഓരോന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒഴിയാൻ ഞാൻ സമ്മതിക്കുകയില്ല.
എന്നെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇത്രയും കാലം ഉപദ്രവിച്ചിട്ട് മതിയായില്ലേ?
എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞു? അച്ഛനും അമ്മയും പറയുന്നത് നീ അനുസരിച്ചാ മതി, വേറെ ഒന്നും ചെയ്യണ്ട. ഇത് ചെയ്താ മതി.
ഈ കുട്ടിയെ കണ്ടോ? എന്താ പ്രയോജനം?
എന്താ ഇവിടെ ഇനി നടക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് ഈശ്വര എന്ന് എനിക്ക് അറിഞ്ഞുകൂടാ.
I think you know about this Indian society and how each parent have their dreams about their daughters. They thought that someday or other their daughter should be given in marriage.
The incident that occurred was the 3rd proposal for marriage. It was so painful. I had decided I'll get her forcefully married to this boy.
For arranged marriages, the would-be bride should bring tea or something for the bridegroom and those who would come along with him. So at that point, when Amma was asked to bring tea for the bridegroom, she just took the stick.
എന്റെ മോളെ എത്ര നല്ലായിട്ട് വസ്ത്രകെല്ലാം മടിക്കാനല്ലേ? എന്താ നല്ല കുട്ടിയല്ലേ? എന്താ മോളെ എന്നോട്?
തുറക്കാർക്കെല്ലാം വളരെ സന്തോഷമാണ്. എന്റെ മകൾക്ക്
നല്ല വസ്ത്രം, ഈ കീറിയത് വസ്ത്രങ്ങളെല്ലാം എനിക്കിത് മതി. വേണ്ട, ഇത് പുതിയത് ഇട്ടോളൂ, പോയിട്ട് കുളിച്ചു.
അല്ല, ഇത് എന്തിനാ അമ്മേ? പറയൂ.
വിവാഹം നിശ്ചയിക്കാനുണ്ടോ? ആളെല്ലാം വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടോ? നല്ല കുട്ടി.
അമ്മേ, ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞല്ലേ നിങ്ങളോട് എനിക്ക് വിവാഹം വേണ്ടാന്ന്.
ശരിപ്പരയും വേണ്ട, അവിടെ ഇരിക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ?
എനിക്ക് വിവാഹം വേണ്ടാന്ന് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ?
എന്താ ഈ വസ്ത്രം ധരിച്ച് നല്ല കുട്ടിയല്ലേ?
വിവാഹം വേണ്ടാന്ന് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ?
നല്ല സ്ഥലത്ത് എത്തി. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് വളരെ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട് വാസ്തവത്തിൽ. വേറെ പ്രശ്നമൊന്നുമില്ല.
വിവാഹം വേണ്ടാന്ന് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ?
കുഴപ്പമൊന്നുമില്ല, വേറെ പ്രശ്നമൊന്നുമില്ല.
മോളിപ്പോ വരാ. മോളിപ്പോ
I could see her running after the suitor saying she would kill him. It was very painful for me. That's when I decided I wouldn't seek any more proposals.
Sudhamani's sublime moods and her inner identification with Krishna continued, and soon this inner oneness with Lord Krishna manifested itself to the villagers.
It was 1975, during one of the religious gatherings near our home. I was not present at this time, but I heard the experiences of many devotees. There were a lot of people there who didn't have faith. They wanted Amma to show a miracle to prove her authenticity.
people demanded that if she is Krishna, if she is the Lord, then she should give a sign. So mother says, that is not my purpose. See, I don't want to show miracle for the sake of miracles. It helps to a certain extent. Of course, around a master, miracle always happens. But mother tells them the real gem is within you. And this kind of miracles will only help to increase your desire. So mother says, that is not my purpose.
There was a skeptic. He didn't believe Amma that time, but does now. He was the one who took the jar of water.
Krishna. Krishna's siddhiyanengil namakkonnu kaanate appol namukku vishwasikam appol namukku vishwasikam
സിദ്ധിയൊരുക്കി കാണിച്ചാൽ നിങ്ങൾ വീണ്ടും
ഏർപ്പാടല്ലേ ഒരു പ്രാവശ്യം കാണിക്കാതെ പറ്റില്ല അല്ലേ എല്ലാരും പറയും എന്താ ഇപ്പോ സിദ്ധി കാണിക്കണം അല്ലാതെ പറ്റില്ല ആ വെള്ളം അങ്ങനെ കൊണ്ട് സിദ്ധിയാണെന്നറിയാലോ സിദ്ധി ഒന്ന് കാണട്ടെ
I was there when she turned water into pudding. That was a miracle.
Govinda Hare Gopala Hare He Prabhu Dina Dayal Hare Govinda Hare Gopala Hare He Prabhu Dina Dayal Hare Govinda Hare Gopala Hare He Prabhu Dina Dayal Hare Govinda Hare Gopala Hare He Prabhu Dina Dayal.
After the incident of the miracle, many people started coming to the house. Some people, however, started spreading bad news about the family. And as a result, the family became totally isolated from the society. They couldn't find any solution and even talked about committing suicide. Sudhamani happened to overhear this.
കുട്ടികളെ ആരും വീട്ടിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നില്ല ബന്ധുക്കളെ ആരും വീട്ടിലേക്ക് വരാനായി സുഭാഗൻ പറയുന്നു ഞാൻ വീട്ടിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നു എനിക്ക് വയ്യ ഇങ്ങനെ വിട്ടുവിട്ട് കഴിയാൻ
ചുലാമണിയെ പറ്റി നമ്മൾ തന്നെ ഇപ്പോഴല്ലേ മനസ്സിലാക്കും ആൾക്കാരെന്ത് വേണേ പറയട്ടെ ഞാനൊരു വഴി കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് നമുക്കെല്ലാവർക്കും കൂടെ വിഷം കഴിച്ച് മരിക്കാം
Sudhamani overheard her parents talking about killing themselves. She only wanted to spread love, but she felt that she was the cause of the family's suffering. So she wanted to leave her body, thinking of the sea as her divine mother. Sudamani decided to merge with it. After her parents pulled her out of the ocean, a great change came over them. They told her that they would support her spiritual activities and they would do anything if only she would stay in her body and remain with the family.
Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana.
I would say that was one of the greatest miracles Amma has performed. The transformation which happened, especially in mother's father, her brothers and sisters. The parents consider mother as their everything, their master and their God. I have seen it with my own eyes, how they had grown out of their ignorance, recognizing mother, bowing down to mother, accepting accepting Amma as their everything, as their all in all. But it was a slow evolution.
Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana.
My brother Subhagan was a strict disciplinarian. Amma was different in her behavior. The villagers used to bother my brother by talking bad about this.
Sudamani's brother, Subhagan, he had ordered his sister many times to stop her spiritual activities, but she never listened to him. One day, he and his friends decided to kill her.
Hey, Sudamani! Ibra Madi! Nee ninte aasham paattu nirthilengil ninte shariram kaayil koodi olugu.
ശരീരത്തെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് നശിപ്പിക്കാൻ സാധിച്ചേക്കാം, പക്ഷെ ആത്മാവിനെ എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയും? ഞാൻ ശരീരമല്ല എന്ന് എന്നേ മനസ്സിലാക്കി.
നിന്റെ വേദാന്തം എനിക്ക് കേൾക്കണ്ട. നീ ഞാൻ പറയുന്ന അനുസരിക്കാൻ തയ്യാറാണോ?
ശരീരത്തിൽ നിന്ന് എന്നെ മോചിപ്പിക്കാൻ വന്ന നിങ്ങളെ ഞാൻ ഈശ്വര രൂപം അയച്ചേ കാണുന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ.
ഇവൾ ഈ കുടുംബത്തിലെ ശാപമാണ്. ഇവൾ ഇനിയും ജീവിച്ചിരുന്നാൽ അത് ഈ വീടിന്റെ അപകടമാണ്.
Her attacker, however, had a sudden seizure and fell to the ground. Seeing this, it caused immense fear for her brother. Sudamani knew that her attacker was going to die, and so she visited him in the hospital. She brought him food and consoled him. She also assured him that she had no anger towards him, and she showed her compassion and love by feeding him with her own hands.
You know, that is the beauty of a true master's actions. You know, they see everything as God. Even in the most cruel person. That is why Amma bows down to everyone. She comes to the hall, she bows down, she gets up, she bows down. Somebody brings a picture, Amma bows to that picture. Whether it is significant or insignificant, Amma bows down to everything. That means there is a hidden Amma within each and every human being, each and everything. So even in that person who wanted to kill mother, there was light, God's light, just about to dawn.
Seeing this, her attacker repented, and tears streamed down his face, reflecting her love.
In those days, there were only a few people around Amma, and this ashram actually consisted of a very small bit of land, surrounded by backwaters. The ashram residents, I would say, there were only 10 or 12 people. And at that point, some outside devotees who used to visit the ashram wanted to form a trust. So mother was totally against it in the beginning, because she said forming a trust is like institutionalizing the whole process. And mother said, I don't want to do that. I want people to come freely, because this is not an institution. This is a Gurukula. Gurukula means the Guru's family, the master's family, where there is, free interaction, there is love, there is compassion, there is concern. But once it becomes an institution, it becomes like an office. So mother said, only if you promise that you wouldn't convert this place into an office-like thing, will I agree for this. And finally all these people, they really promised, touching mother's feet.
I didn't really know who she was. I had brought a bag of peanuts to give to her as a gift. So when she came up to me, she put her hands out like this. She wanted to actually grasp my hands. But here I am, a monk for 12 years. I never touched ladies. And I wasn't about to touch a young Indian girl like that. So I took the bag of peanuts and I put it in her hands. Then she just laughed. And she put it aside, and again she put out her hands. So then I just put my hands in her hands, thinking she's a saint.
I was living with one foot in the world and one foot in spiritual life. And I knew that I wanted to lead a spiritual life, but I really didn't know how. And when I met her, my prayer was, oh Mother, please let me love others like you do. Because I was so struck the way she just could pour unconditional love into everybody that came to her. I'd never seen anything like that. It was like being swept away in a river of Mother's divine love.
I was feeling very nervous and quite afraid. And it was very natural. It was like, it wasn't as if we were meeting for the first time. It was as if we had kind of known each other. There was such a heart connection with Amma. I didn't feel like she was a stranger or somebody I had to come to know. I just felt so one with her, close with her.
Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Durga. Om Narayani, 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 Om. Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Om Narayani, Om Narayani, Om Narayani, Om Narayani, Om Narayani, Om Narayani, Om Jai Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga. Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga. Om Narayani, 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 Om. Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Om Narayani, 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 Om. Jai Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga. Om Narayani, Om Narayani, Om Narayani, Om Narayani.
Love is a basic need of life. In reality, love is that which sustains life. Just as the body needs food to grow, the soul needs love to grow. That is the need of modern society, because that alone will help human beings to grow internally.
Om Narayani, 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 Om. Jai Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagadambe Ma Durga.
Most sages in this country, they won't allow people to touch them. But Amma, she doesn't see people as people, but she sees them as temples of God. It's Amma's way of awakening people to spiritual life, to religion, to faith in God. Because, as I said, it's not just a hug. She awakens them to their own feeling in their heart.
Why is this women hugging everybody and hugging all these men even? Mother says people don't get any consolation if she just smiles at them or anything, so she puts them on her shoulder for a moment to let them, to feel like she's really caring for them personally. Mother will just stroke somebody's chest and they will just burst into tears. It's like that one mere touch of Amma releases so much pain and emotions they may have been holding on since their childhood. It's because Mother's touch is just supercharged with divinity, that people unknowingly they just respond so much to her. They open up.
Amma's ways are really unique. The world has never seen a master like Amma, who is spending so much time to listen to the problems and to give solutions to them. this manifestation of compassion and care is expressed by Amma's darshan. 15 hours, 16 hours, sometimes 17 hours I spend on some days with the devotees, talking to them, listening to their problems, giving them darshan. That is the most unique approach of Amma.
And so that's why she shows that kind of universal love towards everybody. She sees everybody as her own child. She doesn't differentiate between a rich person, a poor person, a man, a woman, a child.
Sometimes people ask Mother, how can you do it, Amma? You go on 7 days a week for hours on end. You'll see thousands of people in one day. Don't you get tired? And Mother looked at them with a big flashing smile and she said, no. She said, where there's love, there's no effort.
തൻ്റെ കുട്ടിയെ തോളത്തിടുന്ന അമ്മയ്ക്ക് വേദനിക്കുന്നില്ല. അതുപോലെ അക്രമം വരുമ്പോഴൊന്നും ഭാരമായിട്ട് അവർക്ക് തോന്നത്തില്ല.
When a mother carries a child in her arms, or when the child rests on the mother's shoulder, it's not at all a burden for the mother. Once you have the feeling of universal motherhood, once your mind becomes as expansive as the universe, then you can carry the burden of the entire world. You won't feel the heaviness.
Here in this ashram, there's no escape from anything. You are forced to face whatever comes up in you. That's the difference between being in an ashram in a controlled atmosphere as well and being out in the world. In the world, you'll always try and escape. You're not forced to look inside at everything. Here, there's no escape. No one has their own private rooms, so it's not as if you can go anywhere to be alone or run away from things. You're forced to face whatever it is that is coming up for you.
The feeling of I am mine is pretty predominant in modern society. People think they can achieve everything by self-effort, by human effort, but that is a wrong concept. Of course, we must put forth effort, but we must also pray for grace, because the deciding factor is grace. We will not get the result if grace is absent. Human effort is in our hands, but grace is not. Grace is beyond. We should learn the art to tap into that unknown source of grace. For grace, we must do good actions. We must help others with a compassionate and loving attitude. You have to understand that spirituality is life. It's not just words. It's not something to speak about and then forget.
So like that, we purify ourselves so that we can really be of some service to the world. Now if you go out and you're not totally pure, then how can you really help anyone else? So first you have to become totally pure yourself, which is what Mother's trying to do here, to lead people in their spiritual life, make them as pure as possible, because you have to give up your own selfishness to be able to put your time in to serve other people. But I find that's very good for people in the ashram, because people are coming to Mother, the internal changes are there with everyone. Everyone has a personal relationship with her. So people are changing and unfolding, their own divinity in each in their own personal way, because two people are the same. So it's like everyone has their own personal relationship with Mother and their own views on what they think spirituality is and how they should lead their spiritual life. So it's like all of these different people come together and somehow it just works itself out. Sometimes it's like that's the process of just, putting everyone together and then they all work on each other. Everyone is taken on, there's no one is rejected. She's the mother of everyone.
Right from the time I joined ashram, with Mother's grace, I've been able to do all work without any hesitation. Like even be cutting firewood or, cleaning the toilets. Mother herself would set an example, like even for cleaning the septic tank or anything. Mother would be there present, she would just be the first person who would start the work and, really. So with Mother's grace, that has, it has really helped me a lot in my spiritual work.
We always remain in the intellect. We never come to the heart. And because the intellect is very calculating, we need spirituality to come to the heart. I'm not saying that we should completely remove the intellect, but we should have a discriminating intellect. We should be able to discriminate between truth and untruth. The most important act is awareness. That's what is lacking. The awareness is lacking.
So the very word guru, it means one who removes. Guru means one who removes. Therefore, when we go to a spiritual master, a living master like Amma, who's firmly established in the truth, such a master will help the person gradually remove all his false identifications, his false values. In fact, she will demolish the entire existing personality. It's a false entity actually.
What I've seen of Northern Ireland and other countries I've been in is that the same battle is going on between Catholics and Protestants, Jews and Arabs, East and West. It's the same thing is going on between families, within marriages and within ourselves, within myself. It's the same battle. There's no difference really. And so the real solution, the only person I can change is myself. And I think Amma teaches me and guides me to change myself and the battle within myself, the different aspects of myself and the conflicts of the anger, frustrations, the impatience, the sadness, the grief, the reactions within myself. She teaches me how to overcome those. I feel we have to look within ourselves, and I think Amma teaches how we can change.
കഷ്ടപ്പെടുന്നവരെ അവർക്ക് അവർക്ക് അധ്യാത്മം മനസ്സിലാക്കണമെന്ന് അമ്മ പറയും.
Spiritual principles are very much necessary to feel love and to express it in our day-to-day lives. Faith is also very important because the spirituality of love and higher values is not a fact, it's abstract. You cannot see it. It's a feeling, a subjective feeling. So faith is very important. The entire life rests in faith. For each and every step in life, we need faith. It just creates a flow. It just flows and embraces the entire universe.
It's so nice to see other religions coming in the West. Many nuns come to see Mother. There's some of Mother Teresa's nuns that came in Paris this last time. And, you know, His Mother doesn't want to change anyone's religion. She wants them to choose their form of God, and she'll give them more faith for whatever they choose. She wants to inspire them to have more devotion because she knows God is in everything. There's no one path. You know, she says religion was born out of man's ego, saying, you know, this is mine and that is yours, and they're all different. Once you've realized God, you know that there's no difference. So she's inspiring people in all walks of life to choose what they want to worship, and she'll give them the inspiration to find more devotion for that.
All the rivers, there may be varied rivers in a country, but all flow towards the sea. Similarly, all these forms of worship, all these forms of sadhanas, they culminate in that one truth, the truth which cannot be divided. Amma is incarnation who has the ability to embrace all these various ways of worship and, you know, lead one person to the final truth.
It's basically the way she leads them inward. It is truly very universal. There is nothing that I could say that characterizes it other than just the search for truth.
Mother, just through her compassion, she's wanted to help man not only on a spiritual level, but also on a very human, material level. And that's what has inspired her to do all this charitable work in the world.
So Amma has influenced all these people all over the world. And these people, they want to be able to do something with what they've received from Amma. And so they don't want to just sit in meditation, they want to share the peace that Amma is given. Amma also wants to have more people benefit from that.
Amma has orphanages where hundreds of children from the poorest sectors of society are given food, shelter, and education. There are many schools which Amma has started, from engineering colleges to computer schools. Amma emphasizes that the children should learn good human values in addition to getting a good education. There are many other charitable programs such as feeding the poor, medical and eye treatment camps, housing for the poor and disabled. The housing program's present goal is to build 25,000 concrete houses over the next few years. The Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences, or AIMS as it is called, is a charitable hospital with state-of-the-art medical facilities.
The hospital is a manifestation of Amma's tremendous compassion for the suffering poor. A lot of the people working for the hospital are our own ashram devotees at a small fraction of the cost of a commercial hospital, with far greater attention to quality because of the labor of love that this represents for all of us.
Even the poorest man can have an open heart surgery operation and other such high-tech, costly operations for free.
The Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences is just another of the many charitable services that are initiated in lines of Amma's thinking.
The list goes on and on. Even Amma's closest devotees are surprised when she announces each new major program.
Mother's humility, mother's sacrifice and love, it influences normal people to take on those same qualities. You could say it's not even mother directly, or she personally is not starting these projects, but it's the influence that her life and her being has on normal people that they themselves take up to organize and to run these other projects themselves.
Our boys and our girls, I mean the brahmacharis and the brahmacharinis, are going out into the world, into the society, working for others, helping them, trying to make them understand the spiritual significance. I mean the need for a spiritual life in the modern society. At the same time helping them to live a better life while they are in this world. They don't have to run away. They don't have to escape. Be in the society, but at the same time you can focus on spiritual principles, on the essential principles of life. So we are in the society, but at the same time we try to follow the old Gurukula system. That is the Guru's family. There is very close connection. Nobody is a stranger. No one is a stranger. It's like a family.
When a flower is in the bud stage, we cannot see the colorful petals, nor can we smell the fragrance. But when it opens up, we can see the petals and experience the sweet fragrance of the flower. Likewise, we have this capacity within us. We have infinite capacity, but at present, we are in a closed state. Just like a flower, we have to open up, and that opening is possible through spiritual understanding.
Om Dharmini Namaha, Om Dharmavardhini Namaha.
I think she'll be remembered as one of the most loving, compassionate, self-giving, self-sacrifice saints ever to come on earth, and one who has never ever taken a breath of air for herself.
Om Balayai Namaha, Om Leela Vinodinyai Namaha, Om Sumangalyai Namaha, Om Sukhakariyai Namaha.
God's infinite beauty and power is in everything. Singing of nightingale, crowing of crow, roaring of lion, waves of ocean. It's that God's power that helps us see, breathe, walk, function through hands, heartbeat. And then we should become God. We have that capacity.
Om Purvajayai Namaha, Om Tripurambikayai